Lagos is not just Nigeria's frontline economic hub. It is an ever-growing cosmopolitan city serving as a melting pot of numerous Nigerian identities, cultures, and religions. This mega city has been offering millions of people dreams and hopes for a more prosperous future through its sustainable economic growth and infrastructure advancement over the years. Welcome to Inside Lagos. I'm Adedoja Salam Adeniyi.
Ẹni tí ò dé kó ìrìn ẹkùn kan.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Ẹni ò dé kó ìrìn ẹkùn kan.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Mo ní pé bó o bá dé kó ìrìn ẹkùn kan.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Àwọn òyìnbó débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tá a jẹ́ ṣe.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Haúsá débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tá a jẹ́ ṣe.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Àwọn Ìgbò débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tá a jẹ́ ṣe.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Gbogbo Yorùbá débẹ̀ wọ́n rí tí wọ́n mú lọ.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Ẹni ò dé kó ìrìn ẹkùn kan. Èkó ò ní bàjẹ́ lórí àwa.
Àwa ni center of excellence.
Ọ̀pọ̀ ò bá dé kó ìrìn ẹkùn kan.
Lagos State government will be taking stringent measures to ban the use of Okada as a means of transportation in the state. The state government would also take control of abandoned vehicles in the nooks and crannies of the metropolis. These are some of the resolutions taken at the last security town hall meeting. We were there. Nigeria faces areas of security challenges beyond the much talked about Boko Haram in the northeast. Lagos State has not been immune from the challenges. This town hall meeting is about citizens' engagement. Drastic steps has to be taken to curtail the identified security threats the Commissioner of Police listed.
Immediate confiscation of abandoned vehicles found to be used by hoodlums to perpetrate their illegal acts. Immediate sealing of any dwelling house, hotels, etc. being used by criminals as hideouts. Okada accidents on our roads are mostly caused by recklessness and lawlessness of the drivers.
The use of Okada for criminal acts is a major topic here. Available record reveals that 218 serious crimes were perpetrated with the use of Okada from January 2021 till date, with 480 ammunition recovered. The Tough Talk warrants a panel moderated by ACE broadcast analyst Babajide Kolade Otitoju.
Security has moved to the forefront amongst the biggest problems in our country. There is no doubt right now that security is the biggest problem confronting our nation. In the whole of the Northwest, where we have 7 states, only Kano and Jigawa are relatively safe. Bandits want to impose their own version of governance on our country. And we must declare that that must not happen. Without being sincere, without being honest, we will never be able to solve our problems. We have to be honest about this.
It is much of concern to we traditional institutions to assist the government. We know where it is pinching us. Kidnapping, land grabbers, and courtesan. We want the government to make a more pronounced to the law enforcement to take the horns by the bull.
Let us assist the police so that we can take care of security together. Number 2, concerning Okada, not only Okada, even Marwa, these 2 groups are notorious, they are lawless, and you cannot cope with their stubbornness. Imagine what happened 2 weeks ago in Lasu and Alabarago. Because of 200 naira, 500 naira, they killed some people and destroy people's vehicles, stoning the gates of Lagos State University cannot continue in a civilized society.
It is we women that see it all and say it all. But in a situation that our role is still being seen, there is no war that will be fight effectively, especially security war, until we learn to put our mothers into it. When we speak about cultism, when we speak about banditry, when their wife at home, their sisters, convince them, we have this information, we can get the information from them. It will go a long way in serving this purpose. Maybe we should create a sort of data boxes where when you have information, you can drop them in. People will have the confidence then to give information out. But as at present, there is information there. When anything wants to happen, people know about it. Maybe we should encourage even the CDAs to have more opportunity of sending information to governments. But information is there, who to give it to, and that we act properly on it is not available.
For us in Lagos State, there is a direct correlation between security and long-lasting economic growth and development. We cannot speak of a 21st century megacity and a vision for a greater Lagos if we're unable to assure and guarantee the security and safety of our citizens and their properties. Not too long ago, we witnessed the very unforeseen and unexpected mayhem that unleashed after the aftermath of the NSAS protests here in Lagos, and which everybody has spoken about today, which led to high-level destruction, carnage that has never been witnessed before, which includes destruction of police facility. There are police stations, following clashes that coming out of it from criminal gangs, and also low morale from the security enforcers. The resultant effect of the NSAS mayhem has contributed in no small way to the severely fragmented security architecture that we now have in Lagos today. On our part in the state, we have risen to the audacious challenge of arresting this general state of insecurity with all of the resources we have at our hand. We have instituted a number of measures designed to curb the activities of that endangered insecurity, which we believe will be part of our first step at ensuring that Lagos can now begin to see real security being coming back. Some of the measures that were put in place and that we're further rolling out is the monitoring, and which a lot of people have spoken about today, is the monitoring of abandoned buildings and properties. Haven't seen a general trend of hoodlums and miscreants converting abandoned buildings and construction sites within the state into crime havens, from which they have planned and they've launched several criminal missions. The state government has taken active steps to curb this menace by commencing the full implementation and the enforcement of the Lagos State Urban and Regional Planning and Development Law of 2019 as amended. This law prohibits the abandonment of buildings, whether under construction or completed, and also prohibits the construction workers from remaining within the premises of a building under construction from 6 p.m. on a daily basis. We will hold property developers and property owners responsible for any breach of this law, and we will not hesitate to seal off defaulting buildings, and if even after sealing up, we might take over the building or demolish this structure if we realize and we found that they are not complying with the set rules. Under our transportation reform, we have noted with dismay the fact that Okada riders are disregarding and flaunting the restriction we impose on their activity in certain areas of the metropolis. And in this same vein, we have also observed with dismay the ongoing war between commercial motorcyclists and our law enforcement agencies. The propensity of the lawlessness is not who we are as Lagosians. The Lagos State Road Traffic Law, enacted in 2012, which was also discussed here, is meant to safeguard the lives of our people and to maintain law and order on our roads. It's the legal backbone for the restriction that is put in place early last year, and it has been disregarded by the Okada menace that we see today. And as part of a restriction that we put in place, we banned the activities of Okada and tricycle operation on our roads, on our highways, and some local government. But sadly, many Okada and tricycle operators have continued to flagrantly disobey the law, and in some cases restrict law enforcement by engaging in organized attack on law enforcement agencies. We have also observed a worrying trend in which criminals now found commercial motorcycles, Okada, a useful and enabling tool which is used to perpetrate heinous crime, with the motorcycles acting as a quick getaway for them. As we all know, no society can make progress amid such highly display of lawlessness and criminality. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that our commitment as a government to the maintenance of law and order in our society is sacrosanct. Our mission of attaining a greater Lagos can only be achieved when we all resolve to live in an orderly manner. And so consequently, and based on all that we have seen and experienced in the past couple of weeks, and as well as the increasing threat that is posed by the activities of commercial motorcycles operators to the safety and to the security of life, we will, in the coming days, further change our parameters, our strategy, to ensure that we can indeed fully implement the law banning them in our city and in our state. In the next couple of days, all of those parameters will be spelled out to ensure that the laws that we have set up and all the parameters coming up to ensure that the full enforcement of that law is in place, the parameters will be coming out within the next couple of days. Still on the issue of transportation, permit me to expose further on some of the major initiatives that we're bringing about, because people have also asked that what are the alternatives that we're proposing also for them. We're excited that next week we shall be announcing and be launching our transportation initiative, which we call the Last Mile buses. These buses are meant to replace the Okada, and we have provided sufficient number that you are going to see when we launch these buses from next week. They are meant to take our passengers into the inner streets and into the inner roads, because they have been designed for first mile and last mile, meaning that places where BRT and big buses cannot go into, they can come into them. And we're launching the first 500 next week. We're still going to 5,000, but the first 500 will be launched next week, for our citizens, that we believe will be the first step of ensuring that the restriction that we've talked about comes to play.
As part of their resolutions, stakeholders here agree that the state government should take over abandoned and uncompleted buildings in the state and more.
We should take control of our abandoned vehicles in the nooks and crannies of the state. Number 3, the government should seal off or take over houses, hotels, and event centers where woodlands are found to hibernate or where arms are stored. Number 4, the government should locate and give ultimatum to owners of undeveloped plots of land to build within a specified period. Failing with such plots of land shall be forfeited to government in overriding public interest. Number 5, all shanties the government must demolish and illegal structures everywhere in the state. Government should fast-track judicial processes to ensure prosecution of criminals and sentencing if found guilty. Government should take stringent measures to ban the use of Okada as a means of transportation, because this is not part of the greater Lagos dream that we are talking about. Those who are talking about alternatives, government should continue to explain to them that there are alternatives in agriculture, in wealth creation, in women affairs and empowerment programs, and others that are waiting to be harnessed.
Security is said to be the business of everyone at this crucial time. Residents are urged to be vigilant at all times and report any suspicious movement by adopting the slogan, of when you see something, say something. And this is called citizens' participation. Lagos is set to provide 20,000 free prepaid meters to 5 low-income communities in the state under the state electricity policy that will serve as a blueprint for the attainment of universal access to electricity in Lagos. The Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Olalere Odushote, made this known at the year 2021 ministerial press briefing in commemoration of the second-year anniversary of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu in office.
As Lagos, one of Africa's fastest growing cities, continues to push towards its smart city agenda, the electricity sector has been gaining required government attention over the years. Lagos State has the most aggressive energy development plan in Nigeria. Between 2011 and 2015, it successfully inaugurated 4 power plants, which include island, Alausa, mainland and peninsular power, and 1 transformer factory, which has helped improve public lighting and water facilities statewide. Now, the state is set to provide 20,000 free prepaid meters to 5 low-income communities in the state to enhance universal access to electricity in Lagos. The communities to benefit from the strategic electricity policy are Isaleko, Mushin, Surulere, Alimosho and Agege. Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources Olalere Odushote made this known at the year 2021 ministerial press briefing to mark the second-year anniversary of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration.
Since we came into office, the Lagos State Electricity Board has delivered 3 core programs. One is a rejuvenation of public lighting across Lagos. The second one is a Lagos solar program. And the third one is the Lagos Energy Audit Master Plan. On the public lighting, what we've started to do is to replace and repair all of the street lightings that are currently defective. At the time we came into office, about 55% of them were working. We're in the process of ensuring that we move from 55% to 100% by the end of July. This Light Up Lagos is everything that we need to do to ensure that when you come into Lagos, it's lit up. So from your communities, to your homes, to the public spaces, to the streets, that's what Light Up Lagos is. We're also collaborating with key industry stakeholders. Mr. Governor has approved the procurement and installation of 20,000 prepaid energy meters targeted at low-income communities in Lagos. We expect to do that this year. We will deploy 20,000 meters.
For the Lagos State Ministry of Housing, it has successfully completed 14 housing schemes within 2 years as part of the move to reduce the housing deficit and provide affordable housing for the greater number of residents in the state.
During the period under review, the following housing projects were completed. The completion of and commissioning of and handing over of keys to 492 allottees of Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde in Igondo, Alimosho local government area by the Ministry of Housing. Completion and commissioning of 252-bed bungalows at Lagos Affordable Public Housing Scheme in Idale Badagry. Completion of furnished apartment unit of 2-bed flat in Olotuda Ilupeju by LSDPC. Completion and commissioning of 360 homes at Prince Abiodun Blair Estate, Igbogbo by the Ministry of Housing. Completion and commissioning of 120 home units at Scotland at Igbokushu, Etiosa by LSDPC. Bayview Estate, Ikate, Elegushi with 100 units. Completion and commissioning of 124 homes at Lagos Home Lekki Phase 2 through joint venture by the Ministry of Housing. Completion and commissioning of 124 homes at Lekki Phase 1. Completion of Sunnyville apartment located at Nombo Oluwa Ogba by LS 32 units. Completion and commissioning of 132 homes at Babatunde Raji Fashola Estate, Ikponri, through joint ventures by Ministry of Housing.
The state government assured that it will continue to embark on housing policies that will enable more residents to become homeowners through the provision of more affordable homes for many residents desirous of becoming property owners in the state, notwithstanding the prevailing economic situation in the country.
Lagos State, which is the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic in Nigeria, is not taking chances as fears of a deadly third wave heightens. The state government, through its health ministry, says it has put processes in place to stem the influx of infections, especially if it's coming from the 3 red flag countries of India, Brazil, and Turkey.
The scare of the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic is one that many Nigerians have dreaded, going by the examples of some other countries. India, Brazil and Turkey are currently having challenges handling the surge of the pandemic, recording several cases and deaths daily. This the government is aware of and has identified several factors that will likely cause a third wave coming from these countries. General laxity, false sense of security, non-adherence of guidelines, among others, are said to be likely causes of concern.
The most important situation we have now are people arriving from those 3 countries, India, Brazil, and Turkey. And the federal government has put very strict guidelines in place. These passengers coming in are to be mandatorily isolated at any accredited state isolation facility at their own expense. They are to perform a PCR test within 24 hours and to continue isolation for 7 days.
The commissioner noted that despite the scare of the third wave, the state government has put measures in place to ensure it doesn't get into Nigeria. But he called on all to be vigilant and adhere to the protocols that has been laid down.
So the ring vaccination strategy, when we get somebody that has turned positive, who has recently returned from abroad, and you have tested positive, then we will be deploying some of the vaccines to vaccinate members of their family, their immediate household, to stop the transmission of the virus from the traveler to family members or people that live in the same home or in the same immediate jurisdiction.
Professor Abayomi says the state has received additional 57,000 doses of vaccine in addition to the initial 507,000. He urged residents not to panic as the government will ensure those who have gotten the first dose of the vaccine will get it completed.
Muslims in Lagos have charged the federal government to be pragmatic and look into the issue of security critically. The faithful said this during the Eid al-Fitr prayer last Thursday. Inside Lagos visited Agboiketu, where Modinoto Tijaniyat offered their prayer. It is the festival of breaking of fast. Today, in the Muslim community, is the day of eating and drinking, having fasted from dawn to sunset in the holy month of Ramadan for good 30 days. This gathering did not happen last year due to COVID-19 lockdown. It was an Eid without congregation. In fact, many prayed in their homes. This year, faithful are happy to observe their 2 units prayer to mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan.
We thank God for this year that we can perform our prayer. We also urge all Muslims all over the world, especially in Nigeria, to pray for Nigeria, to hold on to prayer, to avert such diseases. So we also ask all of our Muslim brothers across the world, especially in Nigeria, to pray for Nigeria for the unity of the nation.
This gathering is coming after the federal government reintroduced the COVID-19 restrictions, banning the gathering of more than 50 people, and the Lagos State government's announcement on the mitigation of COVID-19 third wave in the state.
It is for our own safety. That is why we should use the necessary precautions by applying this sanitizer on our hands, which we did before coming here. We even have it on our mats there.
The pandemic is not going anywhere soon, and the government is basically just putting precautions to ensure that everybody is safe at the end of the day. So I I believe that that's the best thing.
They also speak on the state of insecurity in the country.
It's a man-made thing within ourselves, within our system, within our polity. And I think if the government is willing and all the citizenry are in support, we should be able to quench the scourge because it's really disheartening.
We should shun religious intolerance. We should shun ethnic intolerance. And then once we are united, we should be able to fight this scourge.
The insecurity in Nigeria now is poor. It's poor because we are not fully comfortable based on what is going on around us. Kidnapping, the herdsmen killing. But I pray the federal government, the stakeholder in the security level should take a drastic action on it. So they should try as much as possible take a drastic action on the security level in our country right now.
As today marks the end of the holy month of Ramadan, it is the beginning of the month Shawwal, the 10th month of the Islamic calendar. The special Salah gift, this faithful one from the federal government, is noticeable and effective action to tackle insecurity in the land rather than lengthy talks. And that's the package on this edition of Inside Lagos. Many thanks for being a part of it. But remember that the moment you believe you cannot do it, everything else begins to crumble. So never stop believing in yourself. For me, I believe. I'm Adedoja. Salam Adeli. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.